Welcome back to Curriculum Mapping with Google Apps. In the last video, video 7, I believe, I explained how you could modify the Google Apps script associated with the file cabinet view in Google Sheets to automatically repopulate any formulas or functions you wanted to include in your Google Sheet. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how this fits together in the actual awesome table. So I'm going to explain how this is actually built from this. So awesome tables are basically spreadsheets with a filtering system built right into it. And if you get a little bit more advanced with it, you can incorporate templates, which is what this one is using to get images and different font types, so on and so forth. So at the top, we have these very practical filters, and this one here where it says units, this is known as a string filter. This one corresponds to this column in the spreadsheet, right? It's a string filter. And the way it works is you basically start typing and it starts locating matching key strings. Now you may be wondering, well, this is completely blank. How can it find anything if there's nothing in this units tab? Well, or in this units column. Well, this is actually referring to the template over here. And the template is also searching the title field, the description field, and the owner field. So that one column is actually searching these three other columns, right? These columns have information: the title field, the description, and then the owner information, which in our case isn't that useful because everything's owned by the curriculum account. So what we're really after with that one is just the title and the description field for searching in there. It's going back now to these filters. This, it may look like a category filter, but it's actually a CSV filter. Now, the reason it's important to use a CSV filter is in your editor column, right? You may have comma-separated values. So in order that these don't appear as individual options, by choosing the CSV filter, they show up on one line each. So that's how I get all these names in their own column. So that's why this is a CSV filter. And we can look over here and see there it is, editor, CSV filter. The date filter, this gives you sort of a nice slider similar to that of the number filter. If you have numbers in a column, by default, if you don't put any specific filter on there, it'll give you this slider filter as well. And then the rest of these filters are just category filters. So those are the filters. And now if I turn editing on, we're going to take a look at the configuration of the awesome table. So setting up the gadget, you'll first need to log into Awesome Tables if you don't have an account yet already. But the first thing you're really going to do is just paste in the URL of that file cabinet view, and then make sure you get the name correct, right? So in our spreadsheet, the name of our file cabinet view is files, so that's where that's coming from. And then the range, right? This is the number of columns that should be accessible for view in that in the file cabinet or in the awesome table. So not that they're all visible, but this should cover the entire range where you would be able to turn columns on and off as needed. So I'm going all the way to W. So if we look back here, all the way, it's basically the entire range. So I'm getting also the information that I pulled in from my Autocrat import. And then you have to decide how wide. I guess I would just leave that at 100%. And then how tall do you want your app or your gadget to be? And in my case, I just set it at 800 pixels. And then I also included a scroll bar in case it was wider than the page it was on. I haven't found that the scrolling to be too tablet friendly, so if you're trying to scroll on an iPad, unless things have changed recently, that can be a little complicated. And then I also unchecked the box to display the title and the gadget and so forth. So after every time you modify something on here, I just typically click the save button. So the view option is just, here are just the number of rows you'd want to display per view. So maybe 15 is too small for you. Maybe you want to see 30 units on one page based on your search, and you can certainly change that. It won't affect any of the operation of the awesome table. Format, there is this business of this custom CSS. Again, this URL is located on the awesome table documentation as well. If you go to their website and just kind of look at how they've configured some of their awesome tables, this is one of the generic sort of CSS URLs that's used a lot. That's the only modification I did to this. This idea of caption inside filter, what that is doing is it's basically putting, for example, the word units inside of that search box for units, right? So it gives it a nice aesthetic to know what goes in each box when you're searching. Now in the advanced parameters, here you can set up a query to put the columns in the order that you want. That makes sense for how you want your information to be displayed. So this is how I've crafted mine. And then you also have to make reference to the template you're using in order to have those images appear. So the template range is simply referring to your templates sheet down here. And this goes from A1 to E2. And again, this was merely copied and pasted. I did modify, I believe this used to be search file, but I had wanted the word units to appear in my awesome table, so I changed this to units. So I made a few modifications there. And then that's it. Also, I'm not doing this yet, but if you wanted to incorporate row level permissions, you would have to install a proxy, and this is where you would paste the proxy URL once it's been deployed as a web app. Now that's useful because then you can create sort of dynamic views based on who is logged in. So I haven't yet built that into our current map, but I am thinking of ways that might be interesting to utilize that. And then under general settings, this is just the name of the view. So if I wanted to add this table or these table parameters to another site, it could be very easy to just grab that view with the settings already built in. So that's kind of the configuration. And then I would save it and then save it here. And then the table will load just like that onto the Google site. So I hope you've been able to make the connection now between the Google Sheet and the awesome table. I forgot to mention that the way you find the awesome table gadget is under the insert menu under more gadgets, and you would locate it right here to begin configuring your own awesome table. All right, thanks for watching.